A new leader steps into one of the most powerful military roles in the world. The United States has just appointed Pete Hegseth as its new Secretary of Defense. But who is he? And how will his policies shape the future of the U.S. military? Today, we'll dive deep into Pete Hegseth's military background, his transition into politics and media, and what we can expect from his leadership in the Pentagon. Stay tuned. Pete Hegseth is a name you might recognize. From his time as a combat veteran to his years as a Fox News analyst. But long before he was debating politics on television, Hegseth was on the front lines. He served in the U.S. Army National Guard as an infantry officer, deploying to Guantanamo Bay, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Over the years, he earned commendations, including 2 Bronze Stars and a Combat Infantryman badge for his leadership in combat zones. After his military service, Hegseth pivoted to a new battlefield, political commentary. He became a vocal advocate for veterans' issues and military reform, often challenging bureaucratic inefficiencies in the Department of Veterans Affairs. His direct approach and strong opinions gained him a large following, leading many to wonder, would he ever take on a government leadership role? That question was answered in 2025 when President Trump officially nominated Pete Hegseth as Secretary of Defense.
Selfless leadership for our republic. The troops have no better commander-in-chief than Donald Trump. As I've said to many of you in private meetings, when President Trump chose me for this position, the primary charge he gave me was to bring the warrior culture back to the Department of Defense.
The confirmation process was anything but smooth, with heated debates in the Senate over his media background and views on military priorities. But despite opposition, his nomination was approved, marking a major shift in the leadership of the Pentagon. Now the big question remains, how will Hegseth lead?
Pursuant to the authority of the Secretary of Defense, Title 10, United States Code, Section 113, I direct the Army to change the name of Fort Liberty, North Carolina, to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. That's right, Bragg is back.
Pete Hegseth has made it clear. His vision for the U.S. military focuses on 3 key priorities: restoring the warrior ethos, increasing military readiness, and deterring global threats. He believes the U.S. military has become too bureaucratic and politically distracted. His goal? To refocus on warfighting capabilities.
But what I want to bring to this job and to the ethos is a recognition of the men and women who do the dirty work all day long for us here and across the world.
Ensuring that American forces are prepared for future conflicts, especially in China, Russia, and the Middle East. Hegseth has also pushed for stronger deterrence against China, calling for increased defense spending to counter Beijing's growing military power in the Pacific. Interestingly, he's also collaborating with Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, to reduce unnecessary Pentagon spending while ensuring the military gets the advanced technology it needs. Of course, Hegseth's appointment hasn't come without controversy. Critics argue that his background in media, not government leadership, makes him unfit for the role. Others claim his outspoken views could create tensions within the military establishment. On the other hand, his supporters believe his direct, no-nonsense approach is exactly what the Pentagon needs to cut through red tape and prepare the U.S. military for modern threats.
I think the single dumbest phrase in military history is our diversity is our strength. I think our strength is our unity. Our strength is our shared purpose, regardless of our background, regardless of how we grew up, regardless of our gender, regardless of our race. In this department, we will treat everyone equally. Number one is restore the warrior ethos. Make sure that we get back to basics. Our job is to deter conflict and, if necessary, defeat and completely destroy, demoralize, and defeat our enemies. That's what we do. We do warfighting here at the Department of Defense. Ethos. The second one is rebuild our military. You know, our defense industrial base, our acquisitions process, how we rapidly field new technologies, how we learn from conflicts around the globe, how we match what we fund to capabilities and effects. There's a lot of programs around here that we spend a lot of money on that when you actually war game it don't have the impact you want them to. One of the benefits I have is I don't have any special interests. I don't have a background invested in any systems or services. I'm agnostic to that. It means I'm going to take a lot of arrows, and I'm prepared to do so. That's fine. We need the best systems in the hands of warfighters where they need it, to the COCOMs, to deter, send the signals that when that fight comes, we're ready to win and win decisively. And then third is reestablishing deterrence. Unfortunately, over the last couple of years, we've seen events that have occurred that have created the perception, reality or perception, but I would argue more perception of American weakness, whether it's what happened in Afghanistan, by the way, which we're going to have accountability for, deserve accountability for what occurred in Afghanistan, for what happened on October 7th, the war that was unleashed in Ukraine. Chaos happens when the perception of American strength is not complete. And so we aim to reestablish that deterrence.
So, what's next for Secretary Hegseth? Will his policies strengthen the military or lead to new challenges? One thing's for sure, the future of U.S. defense is now in his hands. What do you think about Pete Hegseth as Secretary of Defense? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more military insights. Thanks for watching.